This is California Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. I'm glad to be in Turlock today, part of our road show throughout the state of California, and we are so very close to CSU Stanislaus, a beautiful campus. I mean, we're right off, I guess it's called University Avenue, and there's CSU Stanislaus right there.
Best kept secret.
I was going to say, Joseph Sheley, our guest president of the institution. Tell us about CSU Stanislaus.
CSU Stanislaus is now 50 some odd years old. It started in 1960. It has 9,000 students. Most of them are from this region.
Right.
It has a broad spectrum of academic major offerings and graduate programs.
And let's talk about this region. We are in the Central Valley.
Yes.
Modesto is the county seat.
Yes.
Fresno not far, Sacramento not far, Stockton not far.
Yeah.
A lot of great institutions in those three areas, Fresno State, Sac State, UOP.
Yeah.
You got some competition.
We have some competition. We'd like to think that they have now.
Exactly.
One of the things that characterizes the Stanislaus San Joaquin area, not just the university, but the area, is that it's a fairly humble area. Bragging is not allowed. As a result, I think a lot of people don't understand the strengths of this region generally, and indeed our campus is one of the best kept secrets. You step on it and all of a sudden you go, wow.
So let's talk about the fact that this really is the only higher education institution in this immediate region.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you can drive, but if you really need to stay home for whatever reason, that it's all you got is Stanislaus.
And I think better said, in a way, it's all you got, and you know what?
In the best sense.
And it's and it's a good thing.
Right.
And we even have students come to school who thought they wanted to go away, and for whatever reason couldn't. We all want to go away to college.
Sure.
They couldn't, and most of the time you're going to hear them say, best second choice I ever made. Now that I look back on it, I did so much better here, and because of its scale and its culture, I think, I had such a better university experience than I would have had at a much bigger school.
Right. It is a nice size. It's that sweet spot of 9,000, which is not too big, not too small.
Yes.
So you came from Sac State, which has its strengths and its location. Talk to us about that move from an institution like Sac State to Stanislaus.
Well, let me start, Brad, by saying Sac State is my alma mater.
Okay.
I went to school there.
Which actually, if I may interrupt, it does say a lot that you are an alum of the CSU.
Yeah, it's important to me. And like almost all of our students, 75-80% of our undergraduates are first generation college students.
Right.
I was also. I do not know what I would have done or what would have become of me had I not had the opportunity to go to college. My folks, we weren't poor, but there were three of us kids, and there was no way my folks were going to send us away.
But
it was there for me.
So let's talk about that, because in the final analysis, the CSU is a pretty good bargain, I must say, but it's still $7,000 a year, and that's without room and board.
It is, and what you have, 2 points important there. One is that it's not uncommon in the CSU for the average student to be regional. We're regional schools, and for some
by definition.
By definition, and for some it's a matter of choice, and for some it's a matter of placement. Right. The bottom line is, it remains a fantastic bargain. You can't find a better education for that $7,000. That said, I wish they were paying nothing.
Right.
I wish our students had an easier shot.
And one could argue, I don't want to pit siblings against each other, but CSU on the undergraduate level, more teaching oriented, the UC system, larger, more research oriented. So one could argue that you will get a better education at a CSU than a UC. I mean, not pitting siblings against each other, but
one could argue. I shan't say that.
Right, exactly.
But the bottom line is, it fits our student population very well. Our student population, if you're first generation college, you probably are coming from a family that doesn't really know how to advise you and get you ready. It has relied almost entirely on K-12. K-12 does a fantastic job in many ways, but it isn't there coaching you.
Right.
So it's a good place, I think, for students who do not have a lot of college in their family background. I think they compete very well. I think they learn very quickly at a CSU. And they're competitive students.
My daughter's in 7th grade, and her history teacher said to her and us as parents that I want to make sure that when you leave this class, you will become a more productive and efficient writer.
Yes.
And it's funny, I was speaking with you before, and that is an area that you believe our college students need to continue to bolster, writing.
I'm passionate about it. We tend in most universities to focus more on the substance of major fields, and we aren't spending enough time on a number of the basics, but if you put me in a place where I've got to choose one thing to focus on, it's always going to be writing. All things equal, that employee who writes well is getting that promotion.
It's actually stunning to me how few people have a sense of what's effective writing. What I tell my daughter, and maybe it's not the right advice, but I hope you will agree, beginning, middle, end.
Oh, it's
beginning, middle, end.
Beginning, middle,
and
end.
yet people are not writing in a linear fashion.
No, they're not paying attention to argumentation, critical analysis. They're not always making the good case, whether it's expository writing or whether it's just a beautiful poem. I don't care. But there is a beginning, a middle, and an end.
But what's remarkable to me, and I've heard this from so many presidents, these students that are admittable to the CSU system, admittable to UC, admittable to private universities, they can't write.
They're coming in less well prepared than we want them to be. I'm always careful not to say the way we used to be, because I'm not sure we were all that much better cohort-wise. One way or the other, many of us did get where we are because we write well. And my message to the students is work at it. Writing is an art that takes a lifetime to master. If you don't work on it, you really are shortchanging yourself in terms of options.
So what tips would you offer our viewers, be it their parents to a 7th grader, parents to a 1st grader, or parents to a college student, or they want to be a better writer themselves?
Take the time to do it. There's no such thing as sitting down in 5 minutes and you're done. The second thing is develop a reasonably thick skin. I mean, writing is about subjecting your thoughts to reasonable, constructive criticism. If you're afraid to do that, guess where you'll be? Nowhere. If you are willing to step up and choose somebody who's constructively critical that you trust, let them see what you write. Let them give you feedback.
So what's an effective written piece? Is it beginning, middle, end? Is it vocabulary? Is it grammar? What is it?
It's at the very least grammatically correct. No matter what it is that you wish to say substantively, if you have errors in there, errors of grammar, you've distracted your reader, sometimes tremendously. We see that in college campuses all the time. Faculty members are spending more time red penciling all these errors and can't even give you good feedback on the content. You've worn them out.
My daughter, back just as an example, was at a progressive institution for elementary school, and spelling was not their priority. They called it brave spelling, and she's in 7th grade, and it's just painful.
How it catches up.
Yeah, I mean, her spelling, I love you, Ivy, but is atrocious.
Yeah, I know.
And she's not alone, though.
No, she's not alone, and it's a lost craft. I won't call it an art, I'll call it a craft. It's a lost skill, and it's one that we obviously, to me anyway, we obviously need to get after.
And what I love about the fact you're so passionate about writing is you're not an English PhD.
No, I'm not an English PhD.
You're a criminologist PhD.
That's correct.
Criminology. So that really shows
that
this is something that I guess came to you as you've marched through the process.
Over time. Some of it's luck, some of it I had good teachers. I didn't realize that someday I would be this passionate about it.
You'll come back.
But I see it, yes.
He is Joseph Sheley. He is the president of CSU Stanislaus. My name is Brad Pomerance. In Turlock, California, it's California Edition.